This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team. The final score, Wrexham 1, Maidstone United 0. We'll take that. I tell you what, it wasn't pretty, but who cares, because Wrexham needed the points. They needed the win, not just in terms of the league position, but after what happened on Tuesday, the psychological damage from that. If Wrexham hadn't been able to bounce back against a side second bottom from the table, then I think really doubts would have crept in all sorts of senses. And it's got to be said as well, Maidstone did not roll over. They didn't play like a side who was second from bottom. They moved the ball around quite well when they got the ball on the floor. And they had threat. Wrexham also struggled really to break them down. In fact, I'm slightly surprised to be just looking through my notes before I started doing this to see how many decentish chances we made, because during the match it didn't feel like we were making chances. It felt very much like the Chesterfield match. Horrible conditions. The wind was getting up. It was tricky to play football, but Wrexham ground away, and just had to have the faith that in the end they'd make it a chance which would be taken. And ultimately it was Ben Tollitt, just like Akil Wright did early in the second half of that Chesterfield game, scoring a goal early in the second half here, 49th minute. The one real sort of worry to come from all of that, of course, is that that's it for Tollitt. His loan spell is now over. He hasn't been used as much as he should have been. As we know, Graham Barrow didn't start him in the first 2 months of his 3-month loan. You just feel we'd have a couple more points probably in the bank if he had have done. And that is a shame, because Tollitt made a difference here today and showed the sort of player he is, really. He can be erratic in the course of a match, but he also has those capabilities to come up with a little pass, a little dribble, or a finish, which can lead to a goal. And that's something we may lack in the rest of the season. But anyway, enough of that. Let's stick to the present. Wrexham with a victory. 4 changes. Brian Hughes really swapping things around quite interestingly. Chris Holroyd given his 6th start of the season. Nicky Devidick's his 3rd. And, well, it was a bold move. Holroyd was lively up front from the very start, but Wrexham struggled really to create opportunities, although Akil Wright had a little hook shot within the first minute of the match from the edge of the area, which went over the bar, and a good move as well, allowed Tollitt to send an expansive ball for Rutherford running down the right channel. He hit a shot from the edge of the area, which was well blocked behind, but Maidstone really in the opening 15 minutes or so were the better side, took the ball forwards to Wrexham well, moved the ball well in Wrexham's half, and caused problems. The best chance they made was when Amalithar, who is a dangerous right-sided player who I keep pronouncing in a Spanish lisp, which I've just done then. I've just realised he's Nigerian. He's not Spanish. I've got to stop doing that. Amaluzar cut in from the right-hand side and knocked it over the top. And Blair Turgis was one-on-one with Rob Lainton. Lainton came out and did well to save with his legs. The shot just low to his right, and he got enough on it to push it away to safety. Excellent work by him, but a warning for Wrexham. And a couple of minutes later, another moment of danger. A great ball into Wrexham's box by James Jennings. Not quite sure what was going on there. He ran towards his own goal line and then fed in a ball behind Jake Lawler. Turgott was lunging onto it and stretching for it 6 yards out. He poked it wide. Lawler did well, I think, to put pressure on him and force him to do so, but it was a scary little moment. The shot went quite a long way wide, but if Turgott had got another stride, he'd had a tap in. Wrexham coming back the other end. Akil Wright forcing some space for himself on the edge of the D. It all opened up for him, and he hit a powerful shot, but again, it was well blocked. And then it was Maidstone going down the other end. A really nice, patient spell of passing in Wrexham's defensive third. Ended with Turgott getting the ball in the right channel, driving in a shot from the edge of the area, took a deflection, and again Lanes did well, getting down low to his left to get both hands to it and hold on to it. But as the half wore on, Wrexham started to impose themselves a bit more. Luke Young was industrious in midfield and started to have an impact. Tollitt was a good out ball and was breaking well down the left-hand side. And Maidstone just started to drop off and get a bit deep and get a bit set in that defensive shape, and that allowed Wrexham to take turns to them and have maybe their best prolonged spell of pressure really in the last 15 minutes of the half. Young swung in a free kick from midfield. The goalkeeper, Lewington, came for it, didn't get to it, and it was flicked towards goal by Akil Wright. I think it was a goal, but it hit Jake Lawler standing in the goal mouth. I really think if Lawler had been able to get out of the way, and to be fair, he couldn't, so I'm not blaming him, I think that would have been a goal for Wright. It was an unfortunate way to be denied. Then there was a bizarre run by Kennedy, who did well at right back. His best game at right back is not really his position. He looked more confident than he usually has done going forward, especially in the first half hour or so. He got the ball and went on a crazy run into the box, cutting in from the right corner. He beat 3 men in the process, at least one through nice footwork, at least one through terrific good luck when he overran it and the ball was smashed into his body, but just sat right in front of him and he was past his man, and then slashed at the ball from the corner of the 6-yard box into the goal mouth. Holroyd lunging at it, couldn't touch onto it. He was flagged offside anyway, but it was a real enterprising and dangerous run by Kennedy. Then came Wrexham's best chance of the first half. A good long clearance by Lainton onto the head of Tollitt, who for my money had stepped back from an offside position, but he won a good header to flick it on, and Holroyd found himself one-on-one with the keeper. He never quite managed to get away from the defender who was chasing him, and although he set himself when he fed the ball in past the keeper, again a good save with the legs by Lewington, very similar to the save that Lainton had made earlier, and the chance was gone. There was a couple more opportunities. Davidic swinging in a corner, a terrific scramble in the 6-yard box. The ball fell to Sean Pearson, who just scuffed it, and it dribbled in and goal mouth. The scramble continued before it finally was hacked clear. And then one last moment of controversy, 3 minutes before the break. Another ball in from Young, a great cross from the right-hand side. Akil Wright got goal side of his man at the far post, 6 yards out, and, well, it looked like he had his shirt pulled. It looked like he was pulled to the ground. The referee wasn't interested. And the crowd and the players on the bench, everybody went up shouting for it. I want to see it again, but it looked like a penalty to me. The one doubt in my mind, the person who didn't seem to be really shouting for it was Akil Wright. So I wouldn't mind, when I get my hands on the footage, I'll be going straight to that to see just what happened in that instant. Maybe our GoPro will give us nice footage. Hopefully it survived the buffeting this side. They'll be putting GoPros behind the goals to put the highlights together. And on Tuesday night, the one at the Cop gave up the ghost about 10 minutes into the second half. A gust of wind got it and knocked it over. And I got 35 minutes of the sky to consider editing, and I decided not to. Although the footage of the GoPro falling backwards and slowly tilting up was weirdly pleasing to watch. I don't know what that tells you about me. I don't know. Anyway, second half, Wrexham came out and started pretty brightly. Rutherford swung in a nasty cross, which just took a nick off a defender and fell behind Holroyd 6 yards out. Before in the 49th minute, Wrexham took the lead. De Havilland getting a poor touch at the back to give the ball away. Rutherford, an excellent punched ball down the right channel. Tollitt made a great run across on the left-hand side to get there. In commentary, I said, oh, he's up against the last defender. He was for a moment, but that good first touch by Tollitt took him away from him. And taking on the keeper, he drilled it past him from the edge of the area, across the keeper and into the bottom left corner. And Wrexham had the lead. Big celebration from Tollitt running over to Mold Road stand, enjoying that, knowing that he'd signed off in style. To be fair to Maidstone, they came back at Wrexham pretty well. A corner half cleared, Taylor swinging in across, and Pearson found himself marking 3 men on the edge 6-yard box, possibly because he'd not stepped out quickly enough. De Havilland got up and won the header as Pearson jumped with him, headed it onto the Wrexham skipper, and the ball looped agonisingly over Lainton, who absolutely wrong-footed, had no chance, and just about drifted over the bar. So then we found Wrexham's defence having to dig in for a long spell where we struggled really to control possession. We weren't helped by the loss of Davidic, who'd started the half fairly brightly. He had to go off in the 54th minute. Bobby Grant coming on in his place, and Wrexham midfield just looked to struggle a little bit as a consequence of that. And Wrexham failing to really threaten, just had to dig in. This defence, of course, which now is one off equalling the club record for the most clean sheets in the season. That was our 25th clean sheet of the season. Quite something now, isn't it? Had to show its value, dug in, and had long spells where Wrexham didn't have the ball, but restricted Maidstone really during that passage of play to just one opportunity from a free kick. It was Akil Wright who conceded it, very lucky not to get booked for a sliding tackle on the edge of the area as Turcotte was about to set himself for a shot. Powell stepped up for the free kick from about 25 yards out, smashed it comfortably over the bar. Wrexham, in the closing 10 minutes or so, started to create opportunities. Bevan had come on for Holroyd and was battling away, typically engaging the centre-backs and causing them trouble. Tollitt was really starting to come into his own. He had an excellent duel with the right-back, Sean Donnellan, throughout the match. And Donnellan actually read him pretty well when it came up to him taking him on and trying to dribble past him. But as the game wore on, Tollitt started to get beyond him more and more consistently. Cute little piece of interplay between Tollitt and Bevan on the left-hand side as the ball stood on the touchline, and now with Tollitt to feed in Jennings. Jennings cut back cleverly. Bevan running onto it. Looked like he had a decent chance from 10 yards out, but he must have got a shout and left it for Grant. Grant's strike from 15 yards soared a long way over the bar. So far over the bar, you almost wondered if it was a time-wasting shot trying to put the ball as deep into the cop as possible. Then it was Tollitt again getting dangerous, beating his man. and swinging the ball in for Bevan. Bevan turned and hit a shot from 6 yards out, which hit a defender, it seemed, just beyond the keeper, ricocheted onto the keeper, who just about managed to flap it away. Bevan was shouting for handball. I wouldn't mind seeing that one again either. I think it hit the defender's chest. It may have actually, I don't know, Colin was commenting, and we thought the keeper might have actually got one hand onto it and deflected it onto himself. Bevan was certainly adamant that it was a handball. The ball had gone past the keeper as well, so it would have been a red card. I think it was just unlucky that he didn't get a goal, but it was a close run thing. I think it struck the defender on the chest, I think. Anyway, we'll see. Then there was another moment of hope when Tollitt again burst down the left-hand side and beat Donnellan. Real opportunity. He pulled it back, though. It was just behind Grant. He stretched back with his left foot and couldn't quite bring the ball under control. Then Kennedy bursting down the right-hand side, cut into the box really threateningly, found Grant. He had a powerful shot from the edge of the area, which was well blocked. It ricocheted. It was speed to Bevan, who did superbly back to goal 8 yards out to take it on the chest, turn and hit a shot, and that was blocked under the bar as well. Frustration for Wrexham. And having not taken all those chances on the break, they meant they had a little bit of a pressure to survive at the end. And there were 2 chances. The first came when Powell attacked the ball with Young. I'm not sure if Powell dummied it, in which case it was brilliant, or just couldn't reach it, and neither could Young. But the ball passed both of them. Return ball came back in from Embry, and Powell from the edge of the D hits a shot. It was a weird one. Hit it through a defender's legs. You could just see as you were watching it that the left-hand side of the goal was opening up if he hit it that way, and he did hit it that way. And Laneson seemed to arrive a little late, but got down there and held on to it comfortably enough, and just an edgy moment was survived. And then in the second minute of added time, one final moment of threat, a ball into the edge of the area. Jennings rashly attacked it and missed it. Turgis, if he had a better first touch, might have been able to cut in and shoot from close range. He didn't, but the ball came back out again, and Turgis picked it up once more, cut inside and hit a shot, which again he didn't get hold of properly. It was going well wide, but he struck it powerfully into a crowded penalty area, the sort of shot that easily hits a deflection or a player runs onto it and it ends up in the back of the net. But nobody got a touch onto it, and it whistled wide at the post, and Wrexham were okay. The clean sheet was intact and the victory was assured. It wasn't a comfortable win. It wasn't a pretty win, but it was a win, and to be honest, that was all that mattered. To hear more analysis, have a listen to what Colin Henrys and myself had to say after the final whistle on Colin FM. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.
And that is it. Full time at the racecourse. Wrexham 1, Maidstone 0, back to winning ways. It wasn't pretty. The goal itself, a moment of real quality from Ben Tollitt. Took onto his right foot in his final appearance of his loan spell. Wrexham win, back to winning ways, and it's suddenly a lot rosier here, isn't it?
That's a massive result after Tuesday, because Tuesday was a punch in the guts. I mean, really, it could have done serious damage to us. It brought back all those senses of deja vu from the end of last season, and so it was crucial that we came out here and won it. It didn't, as you said in commentary, feel like 3rd against 23rd at all. Made some play some nice football, and we didn't impose ourselves on them for long, really. But it's the result that matters, isn't it? And Tollitt, who's there getting an arm round his back from Brian Hughes, signing off in that way. Well, that was just perfect, and a great finish, which keeps our title attempt on track.
Yeah, as you're saying, Leighton Orient not playing, we can close the gap to them. Obviously, they've now got 2 games in hand. Other results, unfortunately, not gone our way as it stands. Solihull winning, Salford winning. Very important to get those 3 points back on the board, and hopefully the confidence that can add as well. Now, you're saying we need to debate who's going to do the summarising, who's going to offer man of the match. I'm going to throw it to you because I finished on commentary, so it has to be Ben Tollitt, doesn't it, Mark?
Oh, that's a loaded question, wasn't it? Well, you did sort of show your hand in commentary, and I've got to say Tollitt was actually the player I'd have chosen as well. From the start, he was just showing little bits of sparks, even when the other players weren't. Well, we weren't really creating much. He got the goal as well, and he just had that great duel with Donald, the right back, who handled him quite well on occasions. But as it wore on, Tollitt was beating him more and more. And no question. Other players who had a decent game, I thought Pearson, it was a relief that Pearson came back on his side. And late on, when we were shipping a bit of pressure, he won a number of important balls just to break things up on the edge of our area. He handled them well in the air as well, and I was impressed by him.
Yeah, I was about to throw him in as a second option. I keep saying it, the difference he makes. Of course he does. He's the captain. He was the player of the season last season. he's arguably one of the ones in contention for it this year as well. Like you say, standing up play as well at the end. No panic, that's the thing with Sean Pearson. Ball's getting thrown into the box, he just stands up, gets a foot in, gets a head in. And as well in that first half, he was driving forward just when we needed somebody to start taking control of the game, absorb a bit of pressure. Pearson was one of the ones driving into the Maidstone half. As I said, it's exactly what you expect him to offer. And to be fair to the whole defence, they've, apart from the odd rash moment, Jennings a couple in there, Kenny had that poor touch, but to be honest, as a back four, it looked a lot more like what we've come to expect, and the clean sheet was the reward for that.
Young deserves some credit, I think, as well. A lot of energy in midfield again. He's been in good form lately, to be fair to him, but he's certainly, he was scurrying around, did a lot of good work when we didn't have the ball, winning the ball back, feeding it forwards accurately, and I thought he had a decent match. And Holroyd, to be fair to him, in his, like I say, only his sixth start of the season, this is movements, just running in behind centre backs. The fact we haven't got somebody who can hit and make it stick up there is an issue. But he occupies defenders in a different way, doesn't he? It's
more movement than, different way. More movement than what Oswell would offer, more movement than what Stockton would offer. Bevan plays a very similar game. Bevan can hold the ball up as well, which Holroyd can't. But Holroyd's certainly trying to get in behind. And as we said on commentary, that was what forced Maidstone back after their initial spell of pressure. So it's certainly a big asset to have. Going back to Luke Young, yeah, you're right, he was up against Jack Powell for them a lot, and we didn't see too much of Powell, who looked dangerous when he had possession. He looked to drive at the defenders. Every time he did, Luke Young was someone coming to intercept, and he did well, as you said, not only going forward and driving forward, but intercepting those passes at the back as well.
It was another ugly win, wasn't it, in all honesty? The win didn't help, and we lacked that bit of rhythm. But, you turn up at a game like that, you win it. That's the most important thing. The thing is now we've lost Tollitt, and that's a bit of a shame now for the rest of the season, because he offers a little bit of what we lack anyway.
Yeah, it does. It's going to be a big ask for Jermaine McGlashan to step up, but we saw towards the end he has got pace, he's got intelligence, needs to bulk up a bit maybe if he's going to deliver at this level. But yeah, an ugly win, but to be honest, after Tuesday night and after the defeat of the weekend, I think all of us would have taken that.
Quick word on Davidix as well, who seemed to take a knock. He was just starting to get into things to start the second half, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. We spent almost the entirety of half-time chatting about him, and then yeah, he did get involved, he got stuck in, and it was notable that what he added to the team once it wasn't there, if that makes sense. Bobby Grant didn't offer anything like the same as what Davidix had. He didn't impose himself too much, but hopefully he's done enough to at least stay involved in the squad, because I think that's going to be important. Brian Hughes has spoken of the value of the squad, and Davidix and Holroyd are the sort of players on the fringes who we need to be ready to slot in when required.
Absolutely. It's for the half-time we were saying we want him to get more involved. I wanted to get the forward passes earlier, and it looked like he'd heard us, because he was doing exactly that, and then unfortunately, 54th minute, it looks like it was an injury. He seemed to be limping off, and certainly he'd just been quite involved in things, so it made logical sense that. So yeah, a shame for his game again to be ended prematurely. Only 90 minutes he's played this season for the Boston FA Trophy match, which is in a way neither here nor there. Anyway, key thing is it was ugly again, but we don't care, because we needed the win and we got the win. So with the final score of Wrexham 1, Maidstone United 0, we'll hand back to the studio. This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.